Today in the crypto space, we see the market holding steady. Bitcoin at around 26,900 and Ethereum hovering around that $1,700 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, a mix of green and red. Of course, guys, we're waiting for Bitcoin to give us that indication that we are going to higher levels, or if we're going to come down, ready to buy those dips. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that is looking really good, and that project is called ORAICHAIN. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that we me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. All right, guys, let's continue here. What is going on with this crypto market? Bitcoin, looking like it wants to drip to the downside. Maybe the hang time is looking quite heavy right there. Maybe a little bit of a rollover. Maybe Ethereum starts to roll over. But the question is, in the short term, if we see Bitcoin roll over, what's going to happen to the alts? What's going to be happening to the alt market? Of course, some of them have been showing a bit of strength in the last little while, but we could see a bigger retracement, right? A retracement where maybe we see Bitcoin coming down, maybe we see Bitcoin retesting range lows, and at the same time, we see pullbacks throughout the market, throughout the altcoin market. Guys, I'm anticipating that Bitcoin eventually is going to have to make a decision. Right now, Bitcoin is not giving us that decision, and that's why a lot of us are slowly getting into altcoins, because when Bitcoin is boring, we transfer our value, our interest, let's say, for volatile assets such as altcoins, and that's why we're slowly shifting that money. We've seen the money flow into altcoins, and that's why we're seeing a bit of a pop to the upside for some of these alts. But give or take, they're not that big of a pump up. XRP's up approximately 5%, really good. It's one of the top gainers for today for sure. But the rest of the market not really doing much, to be honest. If you kind of look at here, we have Lido doing okay, 3.5%. ICP, another 4%, pretty good there. What else? Caspa 2%, but still within range. Within range, meaning that if we do break the range, maybe it goes for that higher high. It could be possible here, guys, for Caspa. But nonetheless, I'm expecting lower levels for a lot of these altcoins, especially when Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin gets a bit of a rejection. Guys, ultimately, Bitcoin is in the chop zone still. And of course, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at the general market first, then Bitcoin, to see if we can use it as a leading indicator. And then we'll jump into the ORAICHAIN chart. Guys, ORAICHAIN, we covered it about 2 weeks ago, give or take, and I think we're due for an update, so we'll definitely take a look at that project. Algorand, nice little pop to the upside, 5%, going sideways. What else do we have here? IMX, bottom of the range. We have EOS looking okay, 2% to the upside. So far, Injective a little bit stronger at 4%. We're seeing a bit of, give or take average about 3% to the upside, depending on the projects, right? And that's the reality. It's not really a green day. It's just a nice hesitant day, at least going sideways. Some of them are actually coming down. Look at Frax rolling over. Frax share down approximately 3%. Not the greatest, to be honest. Rollbit getting a quick rejection, down 6%, guys. So Sui waking up out of nowhere, up 8%. Guys, if you're into Sui, that's good move there. And we have Gala Games getting a bit of a bounce here, finally, after a huge dump in the last little while. Guys, it could be that this is just a bit of relief, a bit of a reaction at some good levels of liquidity, and then maybe continuation down. Guys, I wouldn't be totally confident just yet in this market. I think there are a bit of fake outs along the way, so be careful. Terra Luna Classic getting a bit of a dump here, 3%. It's been showing a bit of strength in the last little while. So, just be careful there with that project. If you don't know what it's about, I would highly suggest that you do some research. What is this? Evader, or whatever this is up 100%. Meta Hero up 3%. Polygon, yeah, you know, whatever. A Trust Wallet. But this thing right here, I have no idea. What is this? Evader is doing okay, up 100% in the last little while. Pretty good. Lbank, Bitmart, I have no idea what this is. Maybe we'll take a look tonight. I'm gonna put it on the list, guys. If you have any projects you want me to cover in tonight's live stream, feel free to let me know. Actually, the best time and place is tonight at 7:30. Join the live stream and request them live. Evader, I'll put that one on the list. And of course, there are others. I want to take a look at Nakamoto Games. I'll put that one on the list as well, and we'll definitely look at some others, and I'll put your requests in top priority. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at some charts. I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's do that. Let's begin looking at Bitcoin. What's happening here with Bitcoin? You know, ultimately nothing really. That rejection right here is not looking good. However, guys, you know, the momentum is still leaving me really confused, in the sense that we're in the chop zone still, and that means that we could hang around this zone for the next little while, and we could be looking for opportunities on the 4-hour time frame. The daily's not giving me any edge. As long as we are in the chop zone, the 50% mark on the RSI, I'm not interested, and you can see why. Look at all this choppiness right here. This price action could have got a lot of people wrecked, including yourself. So if you're hands off at this point, not getting into a trade sometimes is the best trade. And you can see that we're slightly below that 200 EMA, getting rejected right around this 200 daily EMA, which is not a good sign. If we stay below it and get rejected, it means that we could be coming down to those lower levels, guys. Not really good for the overall market if it does, but guess what, guys, we'll be deploying some capital for sure if we do get those fire sales. So the probability is, let's use some stats here. The probabilities of a continuation, in my opinion, to the upside is a bit high. We see that the MACD right now, let's see how it looks. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars to the upside. Look at that fake out. And we talked about the, you know, the sloping histogram bars, the ones that look like a bit of a slope where they kind of round off like that. They usually end up with fake outs, right? So that's something to consider. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars. We came from oversold conditions and we're slowly grinding to the upside. While this price action was coming down, we got some follow through. We got a back test, confirmation low, a higher low. So this is where we're at right now, going sideways in the chop zone, and the likelihood of getting overbought is still there, guys. And if it does happen, expect 28,900, give or take. This is the next level of liquidity where I expect to be tested. Now, guys, I'm seeing a lot of people on socials finally talking about this potential scenario. In fact, they're using the VPVR the same way I am doing it, and you know, it wasn't a technique that was very popular, and all of a sudden a lot of people are talking about it, so it could hold some validity here. You know, if we do break above, we do have a volume gap. We do have a volume gap that could definitely break right through. We see price action straight up, straight down price action, and we're getting a bit of a rejection. So this is the moment of truth. Bitcoin breaks up with a bit of volume. The next area to expect a bull trap is right up again, 28,800, give or take. And if we do get rejected here, guys, we're coming down back down to range lows, and we got to start keeping our fingers crossed. If we break below, guys, lower levels, 20K, 22K, 19K, that's what I'm looking for in the short term. And of course, we'll be waiting for momentum to give us that signal. Now, momentum wise on the daily, if we do get rejected there, we're going to have to see the momentum get oversold once again. That's an unfortunate thing that we didn't get a full reset to overbought conditions. But look what happened here when we were trying to get oversold. We got rejected, pretty much overbought, and then come back down in the chop zone, hang around here for the next little while, and instead of getting completely oversold, we said, you know what, let's go right back up there and get overbought once again. Who knows? This could happen here. It could happen here where we get rejected and come right back down. This is why I am hands off right now on Bitcoin, because we're in the chop zone and it's going sideways, and there's no decision right now as we speak. Okay, guys, so that's all I got to say about Bitcoin. I know you're here to talk about charts, but more importantly, ORAICHAIN. ORAI is the ticker, ORAI. Let's check out that chart. You know, it retraced. That's one thing for sure. A deep retracement at the bottom of the range. And we've been talking about many projects that are pretty much testing bottom range price action, which means, you know, what is the likelihood of coming back down to this green arrow type of scenario? Guys, it's looking pretty good. What I really am compelled to do right now is get into higher time frames, because we're seeing a bit of price action that needs to be addressed on higher time frames, in the sense that look at the reset on the 4-day even. We're pretty much, we got to oversold conditions, almost in oversold conditions, and we see the MACD getting a nice EMA cross with the green histogram bars to the upside. So the beginning of the the momentum to the upside is somewhat there. Now, could we get a back test? Meaning, could we come back down, maybe even get into an oversold condition with some conviction, and then finally get to pop to the upside? This is what is scary about bigger time frames, is that the fact is that we could come down and still maintain a bullish stance on momentum while we do get a bit of a retracement on lower time frames. So that's why I'm going to focus on the daily right now. The 4-day is looking pretty good. The daily maybe due for a retracement to the downside. Look, overbought conditions. MACD is not looking the greatest. Maybe green histogram bars with an EMA cross coming up very soon. So expect a bit of a dip and coming down to test this zone, which is the volume gap at about $1.66 to about $1.50, more or less. Around this area is what I would be looking for. We have the point of control at $1.30, which could act as support if we do come down. And then below it, guys, the last line in the sand is this previous low. And you can see that I do have a spider line right here because I'm anticipating that we may want to hold a higher low. We might want to have a consolidation here, an inverse head and shoulders, a cup and handle, some sort of pattern here. Even an Adam and Eve pattern right here would be absolutely epic, giving us a confirmation low, a higher low, that this was the low. And in fact, we could be continuing to the upside. Now, if we do get that, right? Reality is the daily's not looking good. It's not time to get into a fresh long based on the daily. That's the truth. We got a bit of volume here, which is great. And we're holding steady right around the zone. We're already overbought. Yes, we can go up a little bit more, get into overbought. Yes, it could rally up even more. But the chances are, it's all about probability. The chances of it doing that start to diminish. The time to take a bit of risk was down here where these green arrows are. Guys, that's why I put those in. You'll notice that all my charts have green arrows and red arrows for TPs because you have to anticipate that. And what was great about these green arrows is that, and this volume gap that was identified, is that you can see based on the VP on the RSI, we were pretty much oversold there, and we were kind of getting a nice roll to the upside on the MACD, getting a nice green set of green histogram bars to the upside. So this had a lot of confluence. This zone was the time. Now, if you're going to get in, you're going to have to wait for a back test. It might be a higher low, in the sense it might be higher than the price action down here, which is totally fine because you got to pay for security. In the sense, you got to pay for less risky scenarios. Those confirmations have to be paid for. And the only way you're going to really pay for them is not expecting to get the absolute low. If you're trying to snipe the lows and you're trying to catch that falling knife, really you're taking risk. And the reality is that a lot of the times you end up paying with for those risks, right? So you want to be careful here. In a back test, a confirmation low would be absolutely great. And you never know, we might get a double bottom or even a lower low with class A bullish divergence. But the daily is not giving it to us right now, or showing us that we should be getting in. So what do we do in this case? We should be looking for short positions, if anything, right? If you're interested in shorting, you should be considering taking profit. If you got in on these green arrows, this is a decent zone to take profit on the daily. Ideally, it would mean that we got up to here, but we didn't. $4.55 is a great zone. And the reason being is, look at this really nice volume gap that we have here, and that we could snap from 456 all the way to 560, and we got another nice volume gap right here as well to identify some weakness. But ultimately, we might be in some sideways consolidation before we pick up enough bullish momentum to actually break out through this chop zone that is below $3 and about 15 cents and below. You look at all this choppy supply and demand here that is gonna give the price a bit of a struggle to get to those higher levels. So we definitely need to accumulate bulls down here to be able to blast right through that that choppy price action. Okay, so retracement on the daily, getting oversold will definitely help you out getting in from a healthy risk toward opportunity, coming down to about $1.40 give or take, maybe even $1.50 more or less. Right around these green arrows is what I'm looking for. So let's see what happens there with the daily. The 4-hour, you're going to see bearish divergence. Okay, now we did identify this divergence earlier on, and it's due for a little bit of an update. And I'll show you why. It's because we did get a fake out to the upside. That fake out got people wrecked. And that's the truth. We had a bearish divergence. You can see price action moving up, something like that. And you can see that this momentum is definitely downward sloping. The bearish divergence is still intact, still doing its thing. We got a confirmation high, a lower high, while we're still getting follow through of this bearish divergence. A lower, if we break structure, which is this low, we got to break below the $2 mark. If we break below, we officially made a lower low. That's the reality. So if we're making lower lows and we're going to be making lower highs, which we kind of already did, lower lows, lower highs, that's a pivot point here, guys. And it somewhat looks like a head and shoulders formation. It is upward sloping, this head and shoulders, but nonetheless, the sentiment is there. What we're really looking for is a break of $2. We're going to put a horizontal in here, a small one, just to kind of keep us, in check with what to expect. And I'm going to make it thicker so that we can say, look, if we break below here, we have a bit of a volume gap here too in lower time frames. You can see that we have a volume gap that we may want to consider, because if we break below this volume gap, we can snap to about $1.92. And by that time, we have to make some critical decisions. Are we finally oversold on the 4-hour? And are we ready to go long again? Now on the daily, I wouldn't be going long even if the 4-hour gets full reset, because, we're somewhat overbought already on the daily. So the reality is that once we get oversold, you can take short-term profits and then wait for it to come right back up and then short it again, right? Understand that the daily's looking like it wants to come down. So you're going to have a shorting bias. Although you could still go long, just if you're going to go long, you got to get in and you got to get out much quicker with a lot more conviction to take those profits, because overall the daily looks like it wants to roll over. And especially here that we're seeing this whole setup here for a dip on the 4-hour, it gives us an opportunity to actually zoom in and basically identify the weak spot on the lower time frames. The daily's not really giving us much weakness other than the fact that it's hesitating here, going sideways. And I'll show you what I mean. And let me go back into the 4-hour quickly, and I'll make this only viewable on current interval. Then I'll go on the daily and you won't see that there. And then what I'm going to do is zoom in here and make this big, and I'm going to show you like really what is happening. Yeah, we're kind of going sideways. Okay, we kind of maybe a double top, a higher high. Okay, fine, something like this, right? And then if you look what's happening with the price action, really we eventually want to see this thing show some bearish divergence. Now this last spike, this one right here, you can see if is a slightly lower low. Sorry, a lower high, slightly lower high, right? So this is something to consider. Okay, and then if you look at the price action based on that, this high was higher, so it is a higher high, and we're going to probably see a lot more better divergence. You can see the pivot point that's being made based on those lines, right? There's definitely a pivot point. So the daily showing a potential scenario that if we make a double top, a lower high on the RSI or something like that, it may be another divergence on the daily, and it's not looking very strong right now on the daily based on this momentum. Now let's zoom out again and kind of look at big picture, okay? Because big picture is also important. We do have some lows, we have some highs, we have previous highs. This level right here and the little volume gap that we have that you can see here is something to understand that we could get reactive price action right there. So I'm going to put a horizontal right there, and I'm going to say, look, let's just understand that we have highs, wick, and we have some wicks right here, previous price action, and a low right here. That's definitely going to cause some sort of reaction. And to be honest, I think this needs to be highlighted, the fact that we have a weak zone. Okay, let's make it red so we can make this very transparent and clear that this is a zone to watch out for. And of course, as we go up, we have another weak zone. We have more weeks, a bigger one over here. And every time we get to those weak zones and those volume gaps, expect reactions, especially if we have confluence. And you can see that there's a bit of confluence right here. If we zoom in, we got tops, right? And we have very little bottoms. We got a bit of price action right here, right around the zone, bottoms and tops right around this area. So it could be another reactive spot, right? So we're going to put horizontals and we're going to watch out for these levels. Now, why I'm putting these levels in is because let's say we do eventually get a nice big pop to the upside. As soon as we hit these levels, we want to get reactive. We want to be able to react accordingly, basically saying, look, we are overbought. In this case, we'll be overbought and we need to take a bit of profit. We need to protect our gains, but we're far away from that level. All these levels right now are future forward thinking. And of course, I'm going to put them in here so that we keep ourselves in check with the reality of this chop that we have here. We have weak spots along the way, and these are very healthy opportunities to see the peaks and the valleys, the ebb and flows, the consolidations along the way that will act as future support. A lot of people like these pumps to the upside. They enjoy to see lots of green action. Who doesn't? But the reality is the sustainability of that price action is not healthy. Look what happens when we get retracements. We have no support to actually hold up, and and we come straight back down to the point that we basically lost all the gains that we've had previously. We rallied all the way up to about $10, $11, and we came all the way back to about $1.75. Guys, this is the problem with getting too strong of an impulsive move to the upside without much consolidation. The good news is that we're consolidating here, creating another level of support and still using the previous level of support as confluence, in the sense that we're building a lot of supply and demand here for future price action. So this is what we really want to do, is think about this as the last line in the sand before we get a potential pop. If we break below $1.40, big picture, guys, not looking good. We're going to get in price discovery. We're going to get into dip discovery. And that's when you're going to want to say, you know what, I'm going to be cutting my losses. And then we're going to be looking for extension levels at lower levels. Guys, of course, I'm going to give you updates along the way. Feel free to join the live stream tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. And of course, guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Guys, join the Discord. The Discord is a great community, lots of good trade setups, fundamentals, learning material, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, take care, have a good one, and see you tonight. And don't forget, buy the dip.